Fire her. Fire that maid immediately. Mr. Harrison hissed into his lapel mic, his eyes darting nervously toward the approaching Chinese billionaire, Mr. Zhang. The opulent lobby of the Wellington Palace Hotel was tense as Harrison struggled to maintain his composure. The gleaming marble floor reflected the chandelier's crystal light, but the atmosphere was anything but welcoming. 3 hours earlier, the hotel was buzzing with activity, preparing for Zhang's arrival. Harrison had emphasized the importance of this meeting, knowing it could mean international expansion for the hotel. Mr. Zhang arrives at precisely 2 p.m. He had announced during an emergency staff meeting. His investment group controls over 30 luxury properties worldwide, and he's considering adding the Wellington to his portfolio. The stakes were high, and every detail mattered. Thus, the staff scrambled to impress Olivia Thomas, a black maid with a Harvard diploma and a master's from Beijing University, quietly pushed her cleaning cart, her talents unnoticed. She had been part of the housekeeping staff for nearly 4 years, feeling invisible in a world of luxury. Despite her qualifications, she found herself relegated to menial tasks, her dreams of working in international business fading with each passing day. When Zhang arrived, Harrison's confidence faltered as he realized he had no translator. Zhang spoke rapidly in Mandarin, and Harrison's attempts to use a translation app resulted in embarrassing misunderstandings. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Zhang, but I'm afraid none of our staff speak Mandarin," he admitted, panic flooding his system. The tension in the lobby was palpable as Zhang's associates exchanged knowing glances, and Olivia, overhearing the conversation, felt a familiar weight of decision pressing upon her. In a moment of courage, Olivia stepped forward and offered her assistance in Mandarin. "Respected Mr. Zhang, I couldn't help but overhear your questions about the recent amendments to foreign investment regulations. Perhaps I might offer some assistance with translation." The room fell silent as she seamlessly transitioned from housekeeping to a vital participant in the meeting. Zhang was taken aback, his eyebrows shooting up in surprise. "Your Mandarin is exceptional," he said, testing her with complex financial terminology. Without hesitation, Olivia responded with a detailed explanation of the recent zoning changes, citing specific municipal codes and comparing them to similar regulations in major Chinese cities. As she spoke, the atmosphere in the room transformed. Zhang's associates straightened in their chairs, several taking notes. Ms. Lin, Zhang's assistant, watched with a mixture of surprise and respect. Harrison, initially dismissive, began to recognize Olivia's value. He watched in astonishment as Zhang nodded with increasing enthusiasm, asking follow-up questions that Olivia answered without hesitation. The conversation had transformed from a halting, translation-dependent exchange into a fluid, sophisticated discussion of international business opportunities. As the discussion progressed, Zhang's curiosity about Olivia became evident. "You mentioned Beijing University," he said. "What led you there?" Olivia explained her journey, detailing her scholarship and her passion for international relations. Zhang listened intently, clearly impressed by her background. After nearly an hour of productive discussion, Zhang turned to Harrison with newfound respect. "Your hotel has impressive potential for integration into our international portfolio," he said. "Ms. Thomas has highlighted compatibility factors I hadn't previously considered." Harrison nodded, relief washing over his features. "We're fortunate to have her expertise available today." However, Zhang's gaze shifted between Olivia's professional demeanor and her housekeeping uniform, the contrast increasingly impossible to ignore. "May I ask," he said directly to Harrison, "what is Ms. Thomas's official position at the Wellington?" The question landed heavily in the room. Harrison's smile froze as he struggled to respond. "Ms. Thomas currently works in our housekeeping department," he finally admitted, his voice strained that Zhang's expression registered genuine shock. "You maintain rooms with these credentials?" he asked Olivia. "Yes," she replied simply, maintaining her dignity. "It's honest work while I continue seeking opportunities better aligned with my education." Zhang shook his head in disbelief. "This is a significant oversight. In my companies, we have extensive talent identification programs specifically to prevent such misalignments." As the meeting concluded, Zhang extended his hand to Olivia. I have been impressed not only by your language skills but by your understanding of cross-cultural business dynamics, he said in Mandarin. My organization is always seeking individuals who can bridge Eastern and Western business practices. He withdrew a business card from his pocket, not the standard card he had distributed earlier, but a distinctive black card with gold embossing that he presented with both hands in the traditional Chinese manner. My private contact information, he explained. Should you be interested in exploring opportunities with Zhang International, I would personally review your application. Olivia accepted the card with appropriate respect, recognizing the significance of the gesture. Thank you for your consideration, Mr. Zhang. It would be an honor. Harrison, watching the exchange he couldn't understand but whose importance was obvious, stepped forward. Ms. Thomas, we should discuss your role at the Wellington immediately following this meeting. His tone had transformed from dismissive to solicitous in the span of an hour. 1 month later, Olivia stepped off the elevator onto the executive floor of the Wellington Palace Hotel. Her gray housekeeping uniform had been replaced by a tailored charcoal suit. The employee badge hanging from her lapel now read, Director of International Guest Relations, a position created specifically for her. As she passed the front desk, several staff members nodded respectfully. The same employees who had once looked through her now saw her clearly. Her new office, formerly a rarely used conference room, had been renovated to include elements reflecting her cross-cultural expertise. A traditional Chinese tea set shared space with modern technology. The bookshelf displayed linguistic reference texts alongside hospitality management volumes. In her new role, Olivia initiated a program to recognize and utilize the diverse skills of all employees, ensuring that no one else would remain invisible. The Wellington Palace Hotel was no longer just a luxury establishment. It had become a place where every talent was acknowledged and celebrated. Olivia stood before 30 staff members from various departments: housekeeping, maintenance, food service, front desk, and concierge. Welcome to the first session of the Wellington's Hidden Talents Initiative, she began. Each of you was invited because you indicated on our survey that you possess skills, education, or language abilities not currently utilized in your position. 1 month ago, I was pushing a housekeeping cart outside this very room, she continued. Today, I'm helping restructure our guest services to better serve international clients. This transformation wasn't because I suddenly gained new abilities. It was because circumstances finally made my existing abilities visible. The true value of a person, like a precious stone, isn't diminished by being temporarily overlooked. Its worth remains intact, waiting for the moment when the right eyes finally see its brilliance. In her month as director, Olivia had already identified 17 employees with valuable untapped abilities. 3 had been promoted, and all had experienced the fundamental dignity of being fully seen. As the evening sun cast long shadows across the Wellington's grand lobby, Olivia welcomed a delegation of business travelers from Shanghai. Her Mandarin flowed effortlessly as she explained the hotel's amenities, including their new Chinese tea service and WeChat payment integration. In that moment, Olivia knew she had not only transformed her own life but had also begun to change the culture of the Wellington Palace Hotel for the better.